Hello YouTube, Galactic Marine 501 slash jexamwolfexia here. Today I'm going to be doing a review of a rather cool Gundam kit. The Gundam 00 7 Sword, or not this, the Gundam 00 Riser 1/100 scale designer color version. Now what do you get, what is the designer color version, you may be asking. First I have to show you. Here's a comparison. Here is my 00 Gundam 7 Sword G SD kit. I took off all the swords for this comparison. Now here's the normal. Now here's the 7 Sword G. Or here's the 1/100 00. Now you can see the blue is a lot lighter. The red is almost a salmon color, and the gray is a gray-brown. I'll bring in the Seraphim for the comparison for the gray. Here, you can see a lot of the standard Gundam gray on his back there compared with the hands. It is a lot lighter. So yeah, the Seraphim is actually here for another reason as well. Now, what else you get? You may notice on his knees got that blue badly applied sticker. Yeah, I messed up with that one. I'll fix it though. I'll trim it up. Oh wow, that actually worked. There we go. Somehow that worked. But anyway, he's also got, did I do any others on the front of this guy? This one I did. He's also got this one on his back there. The shields, it's kind of obvious. These two, and then down there. I haven't done all of them. And on the binders of the O-Riser. Did those four. And also, I did on his back skirt. I think I may have shown you that already. Sorry if I did. But yeah, and I haven't even started really. It's got a full big sheet of decals for this guy, and they're really nice. I like the designer aspect, like the aspect where he has a lot more color variation than he normally does. I'm going to end up applying all of the stickers. So yeah, but I decided to do this review first. Now I didn't order this guy. This guy was an impulse buy, so yeah. I bought him at my local hobby store, and yeah, I gotta say I'm really pleased with this guy. Excuse me for a second. I'm going to put this guy, my 7 Sword, in his box. There. I kept the box right there so I wouldn't accidentally put him in this box and not know where he was. But anyway, so let's get straight into articulation. What he has in the knees is actually kind of impressive. Whoops, that's not supposed to happen. Yeah. One thing though about the knees is this back piece can come loose sometimes, and it's kind of annoying. The bend does not want to happen naturally sometimes. I may have to glue that. I don't know why. But I mean, that's still a terrific bend. Now, I may be at fault here. I'll check. No, this one stays on really well. This one's just a little loose on mine. Now I'm starting to give a little more credence to Prime 92's loose on mine argument. I used to think I never had a part on any of my Gundams that was loose. These polycap ball joints have never been a problem for me, and I do play with my SDs. Like my 3 Kingdoms, I just mess around with them. They're on my desk, and I just mess around with them. I've never had a problem. I've had some of them for going on 5 years now, and some SDs I've had for 5 years now, and none of the ball joints have worn out. That's because I don't play too rough with them, but I do play with them. But still, I've never had problems with those polycap ball joints. I think you can't. I agree with her in the fact that you can't muscle them around too much. Like, you can't just be like, you can't be doing all this, like, nya, 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 bending back and forth, bending back and forth, bending back and forth. It'll eventually, if you keep, like, moving it around without tightening the ball joint, it'll pop out. But if you, like, after you're done with this pose, if you make sure you tighten the ball joint back in, then you're good. Speaking of the drives, another thing that makes this guy unique is included within the box are... Here, I'll turn off the lights. The units to light this guy up. I still have another light on, but that's okay. Now, he actually has 3 LEDs. Here's the third. Now, I don't like the third. I think, like, if I had painted the inside of the head, maybe, but the whole head lights up. So I'm going to be taking that one out. But, yeah. It looks like he's got radioactive face. Now, some of you may have been wondering why I had the seraphim right here. And that is so I can show you where the final resting place of this LED will be. Turn on the light. I may have shown you this when I reviewed the 1 to 100th scale seraphim, but the seraphim has a cavity in its back. You can take off a panel and you've got a cavity back here. Of course, now it's filled up with an LED unit. What does that LED unit do? When the face burst mode is closed, absolutely nothing. Well, it can do something, but it's rather unpleasing for the simple reason that it's not lined up correctly, so it's just going to shine through a polycap and light up a bit of the face that's not supposed to be lit up. There. Yeah. Without everything lined up properly, it does this. However, put it into face burst mode, and the effect gets all the better. I actually put up the horns too. Whoops, one of them popped out. Huh, it's not like that has happened with a seraphim before. Yeah, these horns worked great in the TV show, not so much in the models though. I don't think I've had a seraphim where these horns are... I have not had a seraphim where these horns want to do something right. There we go. Ah, this waist, I have to say, it's kind of a pain. But yeah, there we go. The eyes and the sides of the face light up. It would work better if I didn't have the opaque stickers on there. This actually is not going to be the exact final resting place of this unit. I'm getting the designer color seraphim, so that's going to be the exact one. Actually, the designer color CeraVe and seraphim, but yeah, the seraphim is going to be the final resting place. That is if all of the designers don't come with the LEDs that they need. But yeah, I am only gonna light up those 3 places because they will. Because one thing I have to warn anybody in America, I don't know about anywhere else, but the batteries that you need for these are extremely expensive for some stupid reason. I don't know why, but yeah, they're ridiculous. They're, I think, CR1220s. They cost $5 each. So for this guy, I had to spend, or $560 actually. $590 actually. $590. Yeah, that was it. So $6 each. So I had to spend $18 to get this guy up, and I'm just now realizing that and thinking, yeah, that's ridiculous. But so yeah, the articulation with this guy, I started into that but stopped. Is good. The arms get over 90. He can get his arms back into a position using his joints where he can grab his beam sabers. No problem with that. These should spin, technically. Here, I'll do it. No, they actually can't because of the way the peg is made. But, whatever. But now that I have a double O, I can do something with these beam sabers. If you can see, when I have this guy displayed face forward, you can't really see the beam sabers. Now that'll do wonders for the CeraVe, because it has the knee-mounted beam sabers, and it only came with 2 beam sabers. So if I salvage these, and I get the Arios and salvage its beam sabers, then I'll be good. The Arios won't even be a problem, because they're hidden behind the front skirts. So, yeah. And if I get the designer color, then I'll just transfer the beam sabers from that. But, yeah. No, because I'm going to have a Seraphim on display separately, and he needs beam sabers. Ah, well. But anyway, back to this guy. Now, he's got good articulation. I'll tell you that. I'm not going to go through it all. The GN drive mount is much better than the 1 to 144th. It's a lot more solid. It's a lot more mobile. It's got polycap ball joints in it, which I know Prime 92, she will diss those to no end, but I don't have a problem with them like she does. I guess I'm a little more ginger with my models than she is, because she breaks stuff a lot more than I do. But I've never had a problem with them. I don't know why. But, so, let's see. What else do I need to show for this video? Okay. Let's go into weapons, I guess. You have your GN Sword 2s. I'll pop this off. I had that on there. You'll see what that was. GN Sword 2s. I have them in Riser Sword mode. But here they are in normal mode. Now they do the stupid rifle. Now they do form the GN derp rifles, as I'll call them. Which any of you who have seen any of my other 00 reviews know I hate these rifles, but for the sake of the review, I'll show them. And here they are. Now, honestly, I'd prefer these to be the GN long rifles from the 7 Sword, because those looked much better. Heck, I'd say even this looks better than what they did with these blades. I could even go for something like this, where it had some ridiculously long thing on the bottom, or some arm coming down that stored it on the bottom. But this just looks stupid, in my opinion. It's like, yeah, you've got a sideways sword that you're pointing at me like a gun. What the heck? Yeah, I don't know. Seems like it would be more effective to impale somebody with than anything, but I don't know. I'm not a mobile suit designer, so whatever. But anyway, on to other things that actually matter. In order to mount these on the side skirts, you get a tiny little mounting unit. Actually has some nice detail just on it. However, that's not being picked up by my crappy camera. So anyway, what you do is you clip it onto the side of the sword there, like so. Oh, you can see the detail a little. There's a ring and some notches in the ring and stuff. You can't really see the notches, but you can see the ring. Or no, there aren't notches. There are, it's not just a normal ring. There's a little more detail than that. And you can mount them on the sides. But he doesn't need them. Because this version, the designer color version, being an after the whole show had aired release, we had seen the finale, the final battle with the Innovades. With the Innovades. I was going to say Innovators, but then I'm like, no, they're not Innovators. But they were known as Innovators up until this point. But with the Innovades, the final battle, and we had seen the GNHW equipment and the GN Sword 3. Yes, this is the in my opinion, the most compelling reason to buy this kit. You get the GN Sword 3, which I love the GN Sword 3. If I get another version of the 00, I'm not getting another version of the 1/100th 00, because none of them have this sword. You can only get it with the designer color. And that's because the designer color was the only one to come out when this sword was around. And you do... I'll get into that. But anyway, you can attach it just like it should attach. The way you should do it is... And the pegs are actually offset a little bit. So unlike my 1/144th scale Gundam 00 Chaos that I made, the silver one that I showed you, I now call it the 00 Chaos. I don't know why. Because I really want it to be sort of like an anti-hero. It was originally called the 00 Wolf, I believe, but I call it the 00 Chaos now. I don't know. Okay. There. Got it. The arm mount is really solid on this. This is not coming out anytime soon. But yeah, the pegs are a little offset, as I was saying. So this guy can only hold one of these things. If I were to get another 00 Gundam designer color, I couldn't mount this in the other hand. Well, actually, I've never tried. Let's check it. Let's just try it, just to see. And because every time I mount this, it gets more fun. Up, it got stopped at the gate. I don't think you can even hold this handle properly. Yeah, I think the... Up, yep. Yeah. It's not... Up, yeah, I can almost get it. Nope, it's not going in totally. You could sever this peg in here, then it wouldn't stay in as well, but it would, at least it would work for that hand, if you really wanted to. I don't think it's necessary to have two of these. However, I do think my 00 Chaos looks awesome with two of them, especially because it has the GN Sector Riser, which again I think is a rename for my original. But basically, if you guys remember, I switched up the placement of some of the risers parts, and basically that involved doing this, the binders, which, let's see if I can make a sector riser in this scale. I'd need to break something, but yeah, I can. I basically spun them upside down so they look a little more, I guess, like that. That was what the sector risers binders looked like. But, oh wow, yeah, you can make a sector riser without breaking anything. Just need to put it on in a weird way. But, whatever. Nobody would want to make a sector riser because it's custom made by some stupid kid. But anyway, oh, riser. I'll show you that in a second. The last thing I have to show you is the GN shields. You get two of them. I have decaled both. This decal in the center is canonical. That he actually does have that one. But the others are the detail, the extra detail for this kit. Now they do extend, however, when you extend them, the blades look ugly because there's that gray part. But you can take the front of the shield off, then move it down, and peg it in on three little pegs that are not very tight. And do the same with the other side. The fronts of those shields will knock off so easily. I'm just saying. Pull out these two tiny little poly caps. Again, these shields are full of shoddy connection. Pull them both out. Then plug them in. You have the GN long shield. Now, just by that, I've already separated it a little. I mean, without much, I can just nudge this the wrong way. And there. After a few nudges, it's open. One nudge and I knocked it out. Now for the shields, they're even more easy to come off. So, not the best design ever. However, in their standard form, like this, they're fine. With the blades closed, everything folded up, the shorter peg. Here, I'll show you the back of these so you can see why it works better. This has a full round hole. They derped out and couldn't put a full round hole high enough to make the full shield. I guess accuracy at that point was more important to them, but I think they could have just put the peg just a little lower and trimmed something down, or made it so that there was a tiny bit of gray showing, because the 1 to 144th does not have that problem, turning this into the double shield. But anyway, for the single shields, they do look fine on the GN drives. In fact, I think they add something to the GN drives. Because even in the 00, this guy has that sort of 00 riser look to him, which, despite the fact that I hate the O riser and I hate the transformation, which is kind of odd because I loved Gundam Seed and loved the Seed, like the Striker packs. I don't know, I've just never liked the idea of a little jet flying out and running into the back of a Gundam and making it more powerful somehow. It just seems kind of ridiculous. But anyway, now that I've shown you those, let's get on to transforming this guy into the 00 riser. Now it's more complicated than the 1 to 144. I gotta make sure this is all condensed so it's a fair transformation. Now, okay, I'm gonna go through O-riser articulation. This guy actually has a ball joint back here. This is the only thing different than the 1 to 144. Nothing else up here, no extra. Actually, this guy has less because these don't move out. On the 1 to 144, the joints allowed these to move out. And the binders obviously open and close and move. And the back pieces move as well. But yeah. So what you do is you pull the binders back and then out. Pull the binders back and then out. And we're going to set the jet cockpit off to the side, because the binders are a little more difficult. Now what I do is I make the binders perfectly flat, because it means that the connection point is a little more accessible, because the connection is a little more difficult than the 1 to 144th. And in order to open up the connection point, pull down on the connection point for the O-riser and it spins into the O-riser condenser 200 connection point. Now, it may also be helpful to you to remove the drive units to do this, which I'm going to do for the sake of showing you. What you do is you press it in, you get a really loose connection, like it doesn't stay on at all. But then, if you press it in all the way, then lock it forward a little bit, it's not coming off. It's fully locked on there. You can't get it out. That's awesome. I like that. Because that means, even though you have these giant things attached to a relatively small hole, they're not going anywhere. Now, for the other one, you do the same thing. I'm going to see if I can do it on the binder this time. Oh, wow. They're much easier than the first 2 times I did it. Then you just open up the binders to make them look a little more dynamic. There. Like so. Then you take the cockpit. Now what you do is pull. You have 2 points of splitting, I believe. No, just 1 point. Pull this part down, like normal. Pull this part down, and then push the fin back a little. Gives it a little more show accuracy, I guess, that the 1 to 144th didn't have, because apparently it did push back a tiny bit. I don't know. But anyway, then you take the jet part, the cockpit, and lodge it onto its back. And it actually clips in two places, which is awesome. And what you do is you slide it down into a lock again, like the shoulders. Now, I will have to admit, under this weight, these polycap ball joints are a bit of a problem if you want to have it in some dynamic poses. However, if you keep it in just, if you keep them good in there, if you add super glue, the abrasiveness will deal with that perfectly. But without super glue, you could still get them into a position. You got to keep the housing units straight up and down, or else they'll start to fall. But anyway, now that he's in the 00 riser, this isn't adequate. This sword is not adequate. We are going to need the riser sword, which involves a big SOB attachment to it. Oh yeah. There we go. Now we have the world's most awesome toothpick. The reason I say that is because it really does sort of become flush with the outer parts of this. I don't know why, but that's both awesome to me and not. And let's bring in a GN Sword 2, because these get an upgrade too with these cool looking long pink beams. But we've seen this too many times before in SD 1 to 144th and now 1 to 100th, so But yeah, for a sword, I like these. It would be cool if the conversion of the swords was maybe like somehow it was like a gun like this, maybe like this was a gun, and then it turned into this and didn't do the spin, and this wasn't the blade of the sword, but it emitted this cool spade shaped beam sword. That would be cooler in my opinion. There are a lot of ways you can make the beam swords cooler that I'm not even going to get into that at this point. Oh crap. Binder. Yeah, those binders, you will have a little problems with those and the ball joints, but there is a simple solution to that if you really want them to be really stable, and that's put them out back, like so. Which, by the way, makes this guy bulkier in the back than the Providence. Which I need to get that model. But anyway, oh yeah, now let's take this to the extreme. Because you do get one of these little pieces. Now what this is this is a connector for the GN Sword 2s. You can connect that to the back, take the other GN Sword 2, and I'm going to convert it into riser mode. I don't know if he actually does spin it 90 degrees for riser mode, but it seems like it makes more sense. And think about it. Why would he have a sword that he has to hold sideways? And then, there we go. So now he's got a gigantically long sword. There we go. And that is the power of the 00 riser. I'm not even getting him in shot. I have to have him all the way back here to get all those, the whole glory of that effect part in shot. That's freaking awesome. Just right there. That sold this kit to me. Oh yeah, and you can take the GN shields, put them onto there. So he can hold every accessory he has on him. However, if you want to do a static pose with this guy, and that adds a little extra bulk to the back, so now he's even more bulkier than the Providence. I'm going to spin these out to the sides now, and tilt them up on the relatively strong joints in there. The Master Grade has ratcheting ones in there, which I kind of want to get just for that. But yeah, this guy is awesome. Now, some of you may be speculating whether or not I am getting the Master Grade 00 riser. The answer is no. I'm not a big enough fan of the O riser and the whole fact that it's basically slapping a jet on the back of a Gundam to make it more powerful. But I do like the 00. The 00 riser, I like it. I don't like it enough to warrant the Master Grade. I do like it. I hate the GN Sword 2s. But the Master Grade does come with the 3, so that's good. At least. At least for me, that is. It's good for everybody. It's good for everybody that would buy it. Oh yeah, and another thing, it does come with closed fists. It comes with 2 clear pink beam sabers. It comes with a special mounting unit for the O-riser, if you want to display it in jet mode. And draw more attention to the ridiculousness of it. And so yeah, this has been Galactic Marine 501 / jexamwolfexia, and I will see you guys at the next review.